closer, saying I could feel it in my bones. Schizophrenia is taking me home.
So as you may have guessed, that was a little bit of Schizophrenia from Sonic Youth. Amanda and I would now like to present to you the article entitled Reduced Perception of the Motion-Induced Blindness Illusion in Schizophrenia. The study was conducted at the University of Bern, Switzerland. As we have already discussed, motion-induced blindness, abbreviated MIB, occurs when target stimuli are presented together with a moving distractor pattern. Most observers experience the targets disappearing and reappearing repeatedly for periods of up to several seconds. MIB can be viewed as a striking marker for the organization of cognitive functioning. In the present study, MIB rates and durations were assessed in 34 schizophrenia spectrum disorder patients and matched controls. MIB may provide a valid and reliable measure of cognitive organization in schizophrenia. The creators of this movie would like to take a moment to appreciate how fascinating this study really is. Now here's a little background information on schizophrenia. First, we know that schizophrenia is a brain disorder characterized by delusional thinking and unique but unpopular perception. People are diagnosed with schizophrenia if, during any 1 month period, they suffer 2 or more of the following: delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, grossly disorganized or catatonic behavior, or negative symptoms including low levels of interest, motivation, emotional arousal, mental activity, social drive, and speech. There are 2 hypotheses for this study. First, the primary hypothesis specified that MIB is associated with psychopathological symptoms. It was secondarily hypothesized that performance would differ in patients and controls. Now we'll go on to the methods of this study. The participants for this study consisted of 34 patients with mean age 27.9 and 34 controls, also with mean age 27.9 years. Patients were recruited from units of the University Hospital of Social and Community Psychiatry in Bern, Switzerland. All were diagnosed as suffering from schizophrenia according to the International Classification of Diseases. All the participants in the study completed a reaction time test. In this test, the target stimuli of 3 stationary yellow discs representing the points of an invisible triangle are presented against a black background featuring a low luminance stationary grid of blue crosses. The reaction test stimuli were therefore the same as those in the motion-induced blindness paradigm, with the exception that no motion of the grid occurred. During a presentation of 60-second duration, 1 or more targets were deleted in random sequence for intervals of 0.5 to 5 seconds. The same sequence of 8 deletions were presented to all participants who were instructed to respond to the disappearance and reappearance of 1 or more targets by pressing or releasing the spacebar, respectively. During the truly experimental portion of this study, subjects were instructed to visually fix on the middle of the display and verbally report if they perceived any change in the target stimuli. After being told about the possible disappearance of targets, the subjects were told to press the keyboard spacebar when any of the yellow discs disappeared and not to release it until all 3 targets had reappeared. The variable MIB rate was defined as the number of reported disappearances pooled across the 3 evaluated runs. MIB duration was defined as the total time in seconds during which the MIB phenomenon was reported. The 2 variables were correlated. Taken together, they were considered to reflect the intensity of the MIB illusion as experienced by an informed perceiver. This experiment showed that psychopathology factors contributed differentially to MIB perception. The positive and excitement factors were both linked to enhanced MIB perception, while the depression factor was related to fewer incidences of this illusion. MIB rates differed significantly between schizophrenia spectrum disorder patients and the control group. The control group showed higher rates of the MIB illusion. Durations of MIB were longer in the control participants. So you may be wondering, what does this mean? The study is meant to help us in our quest for consciousness. Evidence suggests that MIB originates from brain structures higher than the primary visual cortex. MIB occurs spontaneously beyond voluntary control and seems dependent upon neurocognitive binding processes below the neural correlates of consciousness, probably in areas of the extrastriate cortex. MIB provides a probe into the visual information processing of schizophrenia patients. Positive symptoms enhance the illusion, while depression and negative symptoms tended to reduce MIB. MIB rate holds promise as a neuropsychological marker which could contribute to the understanding of neurocognitive functioning in schizophrenia, and which might provide a useful diagnostic measure in therapeutic trials targeting cognitive functioning. And that's the end.